Kindergarten Readiness by Melanie Edwards. In this video, we will be discussing the effects early enrollment has on kindergarten readiness. Together, we will learn why being ready for kindergarten is important, and if enrolling in an early educational program leads to a successful future of education. Early education is a crucial thing for young children to be a part of to overall get a better education. Researchers prove that programs are associated with improved academic performances. The Annie E. Casey Foundation states that more than half, about 54%, of the nation's 3 and 4-year-olds did not go to preschool in the years of 2018 through 2022. That's about 4.3 million children in the United States that don't get that early education. The Kids Count Data Center had also tracked the number of kids that enrolled in a public Head Start program. In 2019, it was recorded that about 712,000 kids were enrolled in a public Head Start program. After a steep drop in 2021, it was recorded at 512,000 kids. However, in 2022, there was a slight increase of 5% to 538,000 kids ranging from ages 3 to 5 years old. Between the years of 2019 through 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic severely disrupted early childhood education. Not being able to go to these early educational programs caused a huge delay in kids' learning and socio-emotional development. While COVID-19 created major setbacks for young learners, finding availability and affordability into these programs has been a challenge for many families long before the pandemic. While some low-income families are able to access certain early educational programs, high-quality education is essential for promoting long-term academic success. Children in public preschool and other childcare programs often are profiled in household families with higher educational levels and incomes were more likely to be white than any other profile. Race, ethnicity, language background, income, and disability status are just a few of the obstacles that can limit opportunities for young children. Unfortunately, with rising costs and limited availability in early childhood education, affordability remains as the biggest obstacle for many families. While there are some low-income families that are able to access basic early education, many Hispanic families in particular face economic barriers that can limit their access to the high-quality programs their children need for long-term academic success. There is a long history of educational discrimination and educational inequity that are still around to this day. However, public programs like Early Head Start, state-funded pre-K, and early childcare have expanded a lot over the last couple decades to support low-income families. These efforts have increased Hispanic children's participation in early childhood education and also helped reduce gaps in their educational opportunities. However, inconsistent licensing guidelines across federal, state, and local levels, as well as a lack of standardization in terms of staff qualifications and training, will also continue to be a limiting factor. So what does it really mean for a child to be ready for kindergarten? When a child comes into kindergarten class for the first time and he or she freezes, it isn't because they don't know their ABCs, but because they don't have the confidence yet to ask for help. When you examine the many factors that explain why children enter kindergarten with different levels of readiness, it becomes clear that readiness is influenced by far more than age alone. With a difference in program qualities and variations in teacher qualifications, children's achievements are expected to be quite different and unique. Evidence suggests that with children's academic skills and attendance, positive short-term impacts of high-quality preschool programs contribute dramatically to improve language skills, literacy, math skills, as well as better engagement and learning in kindergarten and the early primary grades. When the adult-to-child relationships are supportive, curriculum shows effectiveness, programs are developmentally appropriate, and when teachers are well-trained in child development, children experience high-quality preschool interactions and positive learning environments that will then trend into building a strong foundation for their educational success. Furthermore, a critical component of being kindergarten ready involves good social, emotional, and behavioral development. Researchers Nicholas Zill and Jerry West suggest that kids who master these fundamental skills prior to kindergarten lead to increased chances that children will read and write sooner and more successfully. However, instability and lack of consistency in different childcare arrangements can hinder how these kids develop these skills. Some early educational programs offer only part-time hours, meaning parents and families may be required to find additional care to cover the remaining times and that are unavailable. Therefore, children may attend multiple early childhood educational programs for varying amounts of time. In conclusion, being ready to learn upon entering kindergarten is not solely an academic matter. It is instead a mix of being academically ready with social emotional skills developed, and being self-regulatory is essential. Thank you so much for coming here to learn about kindergarten readiness with me.